Hi friends, welcome back. In case you are new to this channel, you are most welcome and enjoy all our cool free projects. Today we are looking at part 2 of this great looking digital clock project. In case you haven't watched part 1, go ahead and get the link in the description of this video below. Also, if you need to follow along, the source code link to GitHub repo is also in the description below. Without any delay, let's jump into VS Code and make our hands dirty. So in here we have 3 files: HTML, which we did earlier on in part 1, and CSS also here. Then JavaScript is completely empty and have all been linked together in the HTML here in this line of code. So without any delay, let's move into our project and grab some few elements here. My main target for now is to make sure that when we mouse over this button, the color of the screen should change to appear like a light. So we'll be animating this using JavaScript, and let's quickly grab these screens into JavaScript file here by declaring some functions, some variables. So I'm going to use 3 functions. So let's use if. We just need to create this function by having parentheses, and outside here an extra parenthesis for calling this function. So between this we create an arrow function. Definitely we shall be using arrow function for this project. Now use strict directive. Now in here let's declare those variables using const keyword, and the first thing I need to grab the first screen here. Now I can call it main screen using document.query selector, and in here we're using this class, so let's right away here, so we can copy, move into our app.js file and paste it here. Then let's move to the next screen, and we also say const am pm screen equals document.query selector. We also select it. We again checked. In here we have the am screen here, so let's copy and paste. So again we move to the date screen, say document.query selector, and in here we also check from the HTML file, and the date screen is this one, so we also grab it and move inside this file, we paste there. So we also need to grab this button and this writing inside here, so we can say light button equals document.query selector, and we also look for the class of that button. So our button is down here with the class of light button, so we copy and we paste. So finally, for now, we get the text, so we can say light text equal to document dot query selector, and that is h1. Now, having grabbed all this, we have to make sure they work by us logging to the console. So we start with main screen, AM screen, then date screen, light button, and light text. So when you save it and move into our web page, right click, inspect, and then we click the console. All the first screen is being selected, AM and PM is being selected, date is being selected, and our button are all selected here, so that is great. Now next, we have to do something with what has been selected. So the first thing here, we can create a function. So I'm using ES6 function here, and I can say light on is equals to, we open and close the parentheses here, and we have this. So this function is going to be called when we have some event listener after having this light button mouse over. So we have light button dot add event listener, and then we are listening for mouse over. Now we call this function light on. Now we can do the same, light on and light off. Event listener, do the same thing here, and we also listen for mouse out. So we're going to create another function called light off. So let's go ahead and duplicate this function, and then change this name here to off, and finally we do something inside here. So what we want to do here is, when we mouse over in this button, we want the screen colors to change, all the three. Now we can go ahead to the function of light on, and then select this more screen. We use JavaScript to animate this color from the CSS here. We have this class that I want to add to the JavaScript to animate it. Inside our JS file, we take the main screen dot class list add, and we're adding the class we have just copied from our CSS file. Now, having done that, the same class we can copy and paste it in here. Now here we will be removing it off to fall back into the default style we're having right now here. So having done this, we can save it, go to our web page, come here and mouse over. So for now we have selected one screen and it's working perfectly. When you move out of the button, the light goes off. When you move back, the light goes on again. So let's do the same to the remaining two screens, and this one has names. Now we just simply duplicate this one here twice and change this one here to AM, and then this one to date screen, and they must be moving on well. Now here we do the same. We also copy this one down and we remove this to also AM, and date screen. So with this, all of this one here selected, and when you save it, go back here, we test. This will be working. Yeah, everything is working perfectly. Now having finished that, and the next thing here, we're also changing this one here to a lighter color. When you mouse over, the white lights will glow with green color. So let's get back here and we say light text dot style dot color equals, now I'm going to use this hexadecimal value of 00df00. So on save, and we also copy the same thing here and paste it in the next function here, so that we have also effect on mouse out. Now let's remove it out so that it default back again to the default color we had here. So let's give it a try and see. Something is not quite right. Okay, sorry, we need to remove this class out. We just selected this one here as an element, not a class. So by now it should be working. So let's try it out. Yeah, perfect, it's working clearly. Great. So the next, we need to change these elements here of hour, minute and second, and also AM and this date here. So let's grab them one by one. We come to the hour here and declare some variables. So let's make it down here and have const. So the first one we can say hour digit maybe equals to document dot query selector, and we are selecting, let's check here for the hour represented by 10. The time is this hour here with our digit. So let's copy and paste it here. Since it is a class, we need to first place that dot. And next, we also do the same to the minute digit equals to document dot query selector, and we also grab this from the HTML, and the minute is here, so we can copy and paste it here. Now finally, we need to declare another variable for seconds. So we can say seconds digit equals document dot query selector, and when we check, this will be this one here. We copy and also paste it here. Having done that, I think we're good to go. Let's get sure that everything works perfectly by checking it in the console. So on save, back to the web page, right click, inspect, and we click the console here. Yeah, perfect, everything is selected as we expected. Now next, we just need to do something. Now let's remove this one here. So our main target here, we want to create a function which will animate this hour, minute and second. So I can call it update date equals the arrow, and then between here we can call this update here, date outside here, and inside this function we have to do something like we create another variable and say current date, and this variable we are creating is to graph a new date from the JavaScript. So we normally use capital letter D and write date together with parentheses. Now we can log this to the console to see that we're able to graph this. So we say current date. After saving, we also open from the console here. We should be able to see something here. Great, so we have successfully grabbed the time here. Now, after doing that, so let's go ahead and use that time we have grabbed to also now get the time in terms of hour, in terms of minutes and seconds here before we display to the web page. So we can do that by once. Now you can call this one here hour equals current date dot get hour. So this hours here with the parentheses in it. Go ahead and also this one should be minutes equals current date dot get minutes. And finally, what is happening with my typing today? Seconds. Also current date dot get seconds. It's up there already, and that is something cool with Visual Studio Code. As soon as you start typing, you can just do auto completion. Now with this, let's also try to log to the console to see that is really working. So we have hour, minute, second. This one should be comma. So on save, we can check from the console again to make sure everything works. So great, we have just got this one here perfectly well. And for us to have this thing work well, we need to have some callback function, and that is set time out. So parentheses, and we can call this function update function here. So having done that, if we check our console again, we need to see that it is animating at the console. So here, perfect. We can see everything is displaying here perfectly as expected. But then we don't need this time here, we just need this time displayed on its original position here. So to do that, we're going to use the DOM to manipulate this. So quickly, now for now we don't need now this console.log. We can remove it off and get this element here, the hour, and then display the hour. So we can have our hour digit inner HTML equals the hour. So here, meaning from what we have declared here, we have gone ahead using this line to graph the time from this date, and we stored it in this variable hour, and we are using the DOM to display this hour here. That is why we are able to see the hour has been displayed here, which is exactly similar to the system hour here. So with that, we can do the same to the minute. We say minute digit inner HTML equals to minute. So here we can see the minutes is changed also to 44 here, and also we have 44. So finally, let's do the same to the seconds. So we have second digit in our HTML equals to seconds. Now having done that, on save, immediately we have here, but you can notice that is something weird a little. When this time here is less than 10, it was displaying one digit only. So I want to correct that below here by having some if statements. So we can say if. Now, for now, I can start with this to be able to see it clearly. Now that is the second. So the condition here is if second, if the seconds here are less than 10, we can get back here into our second and we copy it, paste it here, and instead of having this second here, we can use template literal and we put 0 before this, then we make this thing dynamic by having opening and close curly braces here. So on save, and when you go ahead and start monitoring, by the time this one clocks to 47 and we're having 0, this 0 has to be merged together with this one and we have double zeros here. As we continue coding, we need to monitor the screen to see that it works. So we create another if statement here, and this time we're talking about minute. So when minute is less than also 10, something should happen. So exactly, now here we have the 0 together with the numbers and meeting there. So having done that, we can also below here go ahead and copy this line of code and paste it here. Then we change this also again to template literal using our backtick and insert our 0. So $sign, open braces and close braces. This will do the same. And finally, to the hour, also when it's less than 10, like 9 a.m., this will indicate 09 or 08, 07, and so on. So we also declare another if statement, and the condition here is hour. If the hour is less than 10, what would happen here is the hour digit dot inner HTML must be equals to the backtick 0, and then we have this and we have hour. So having done that, so we have successfully rectified all the problem here. Everything is working perfectly. From the light, when you mouse over, everything is well. Mouse out, it goes off and on. Now, what is left here is this AM. For now, it is PM, but it's still writing here AM. This AM is from the HTML here. When we had hold it and we gave it somewhere down here, with AM, AM is here. So we want to make this one here dynamic using JavaScript, and back here we need to check that we have not declared it, so we can also declare some variables around. Let me leave some space for easy readability of our code. So we say const, so we say AM, PM, so just maybe MPM equals to, let's go to selector again. Now we have selected this class here. We have to do the same to this. Let's grab the date, the month, and the year. So maybe we can include something here, that element. Then here, next we declare another variable, const. So we say date element, to document dot query selector. This time we have to check to see that we copy to avoid typo. So the date is this one, and our class here is DD. So we can paste in. Then next is the year. The year element goes to document dot query selector. Now the year is 4Y. Let's confirm by checking it again. Yeah, this is the class. So having done that, we always need to be sure that everything works. So AM element, date element, and finally year element. On save and checking in our console, we need to see that things work out. So the console, yeah, we have graphed them successfully with JavaScript. So we can go ahead and be sure of results coming out. So let's go on and inside, I think, the function, because we're using the same function here. So inside this same function, we can get some if statement to change this. Now that one changes in the time of the day. So down here, if now the condition here is hour, if the hour is less than 12, like before midday, what happened? What we've just grabbed here, which is the AM element, so it'll have to be dynamically changed. So we have AM element dot inner HTML should be equivalent to certain string here, like I'm going to give some greeting, say good morning. Now on save, for now the time is not for morning, nothing happens here, but then we have to continue and also give other times that can match this. So we create another if statement, and now the condition here, if the hour is less than should be greater than, if the hour is greater than, so we say greater than 11, and if also the hour is less than, is less than for morning is from 00 up to 11:59. So this one from 12, then we need to display some message by copying this one and pasting it down here, and we say good afternoon. So next, if the hour is greater than 15, is less than, sorry, is less than, is less than 19. Okay, let's say it's less than 20, and then we have to give, let's just say less than 22. We say good evening. Sorry, this greeting has to be given onto this element, not really this one here. So let's get back and grab this element and change this one. So back to the HTML. Let's look at that time. So time is money is this one here. So we can grab this P into the JavaScript here. Sorry about that. So let's come back here and let me grab this and say const. Maybe say greeting equals document dot query selector, and this time we are grabbing not a class but a paragraph, simply an element. Now we can grab this one, this greeting, and replace what we had here in these if statements. Instead of having this, we are replacing it by that. So we do that. I think let's just duplicate and paste once. So for now, the greeting message is in the right position, and now we have to make another task of making if statement that will change this. So sorry about that. Now next, let's insert here, change our AM and PM, saying also an hour when the hour is less than was midday. We need this AM here, which we declared it earlier on. This AM element, we need this AA element to be around here, to be changed dot inner HTML to AM. Otherwise, or else if, let's use else, because there are only two, our AM dot inner HTML, so change to PM. So on save, it has changed automatically to PM simply because the time of the day is more than 12, as you can see here. So the whole thing is working perfectly. And one thing you notice here, even if we remove this PM, I mean the AM, which we had earlier on, and all the digits we had earlier on, everything will be working perfectly, just like here. The 10 may not really affect our work because the whole thing has been taken care of by JavaScript. So for now, we can just honor it and move on. So next is going to be this date, month, and the year. So moving on to the date, which we have already graphed into our JavaScript, we can go ahead and do something with it. Now inside our function here, we need to get this date next to what we declared here. So we say const date equals current date dot get date with parentheses. We have just grabbed it here. Then next, we also need to graph the month. So you can say month equals to current date dot get month, which is there, and we have our parentheses again. So finally, we graph the year by say const year equals to current date dot get full year, and we graph that. So after having done that, we save, and down here we can go ahead and display this one here to the DOM by getting this element of the date. So where is the element of the date? Is this one. We'll just grab here that element. We can copy, or you can just type out if you have enough time, and say dot inner HTML, and we give this date. So having done that, immediately the date has changed to 10. Then we do the same to the month. So the month there, let's check it out. It is that is the date, and then year. Then we do not graph for the month. Okay, let's first display the year and say year element, inner HTML equals to here. On save, it is here working perfectly. And remember, it was 12 here and we not grabbed it yet, so we can go ahead and have that month. Grab it again. Let's come back here and look for where the month is. I mean this mm. So we can go ahead and within our JavaScript file, we can grab that month here. In between here, we can have const, then month element equals to document dot query selector, and the month is mm. For now it's working, so we can go ahead and grab that month here now in this variable, copy it, we come down here and then we paste inner HTML again with the month for it to be in an order. Yeah, it is working, but we notice one thing, weird thing here. It's saying 11, meaning it's using the indexes to graph, and since we're not using array, we can simply correct it by adding 1 and it's fixed. So for it to be chronologically, let me cut it here and place it in the middle, so that we have date, month and year. So we have successfully made this one here working, this one's also working, and then somewhere here. Okay, what is happening here? Something seems not to be right, because the time here is saying time is money, but yet we made some animation here. Good evening, meaning the time is here now beyond what you have just specified, because we're saying less than 22, and since it has gone beyond 22, which is now 22 and beyond, we have a different message here. So we can say else greetings dot inner HTML equals we can say good night. So having done that, yeah, great. So this is the right time rhyming with what we had here. So it's saying good night. Now with all this, we can even remove all those remaining hard-coded values, like time is money. This one here we can take it off, and then down here in the place of AM, we can even take this one off. The place of AM also off. The place of the date off, and finally this one here, even the year, we can do the same and get rid of it, because it has been taken care of by JavaScript. So if you go ahead and check our work, everything is perfectly working. And hey friends, this has been one of the longest videos I've just produced here, step by step, to make everybody accommodated. So before leaving this, please remember to like the video, subscribe to my channel to get more cool projects like this one here, and then share with friends to learn from each other. So with all this, thank you very much for supporting the channel. See you in the next one. Goodbye.